The old house. There was a very old house in the street. It was almost 300 years old. You could see the date carved on a big wooden beam. There were also pictures of flowers and some old words on it. Above each window, there was a strange face carved in the wood. The top part of the house stuck out over the bottom part. Under the roof, there was a water pipe shaped like a dragon's head. The rain should have come out of its mouth, but it came out of its belly because there was a hole. All the other houses on the street were new and clean. They had big windows and smooth walls. They looked like they didn't want to be near the old house. They probably thought, "Why is that old, broken house still here? And its windows stick out so far that we can't see past it from our houses. The steps are big, like a palace, and tall, like a church tower. The metal fence looks like a door to an old grave. And it has shiny tops, that's silly." On the other side of the street, there were also new, clean houses. They thought the same things. But in a window across from the old house, a little boy sat today. He had red cheeks and bright eyes. He liked the old house best, both in the sun and the moon. When he looked at the wall where the cement had fallen off, he could imagine many strange shapes. He saw the street as it was before, with steps and windows that stuck out. He saw soldiers with spears and dragon-shaped water pipes. It was a good house to look at. An old man lived there. He wore velvet pants and a coat with big metal buttons. He had a wig that looked real. Every morning, another old man came to clean his rooms and run errands. Other than that, the old man in the velvet pants was alone in the old house. Sometimes, the old man came to the window and looked out. The little boy nodded to him, and the old man nodded back. They became friends even though they never spoke. The little boy heard his parents say, "The old man across the street has a lot of money, but he is very, very lonely." The next Sunday, the little boy wrapped something in paper. He went downstairs and stood at his door. When the errand man walked by, the boy said, "Sir, please give this to the old man across the street. I have 2 toy soldiers. This is one of them. He should have it because I know he is very, very lonely." The errand man looked happy. He nodded and took the toy soldier to the old house. Later, a message came. It asked if the little boy wanted to visit. His parents said yes, and he went to the old house. The shiny tops on the metal fence looked even brighter. It seemed like they were cleaned for his visit. The carved trumpeters on the door, who stood in carved tulips, seemed to blow their trumpets loudly. Their cheeks looked rounder. They blew, "Trataratra." The little boy is here. Trataratra. Then the door opened. The hallway had many pictures of knights in armor and ladies in silk dresses. The armor seemed to rattle, and the silk dresses seemed to rustle. There were stairs that went up and down. Then there was a balcony. It was old and had big holes and long cracks. But grass and leaves grew everywhere, making it look like a garden. There were old flower pots with faces and donkey ears. The flowers grew freely. One pot had pink flowers all around it. The flowers seemed to say, "The air loved me, the sun kissed me, and promised me a little flower on Sunday. A little flower on Sunday." Then they went into a room with walls covered in pig leather. It had gold flowers on it. The walls seemed to say, "The gold goes away, but pig leather stays." There were soft chairs with tall backs and carved arms. They seemed to say, "Sit down. Sit down. Oh, I creak so much. I will get old like the old closet, oh." Then the little boy went into the room with the windows that stuck out, where the old man sat today. "Thank you for the toy soldier, my little friend." The old man said, "And thank you for coming to visit me." "Thank you. Thank you," or cranky. Cranky, sounded from all the furniture. There was so much furniture that each piece tried to see the little boy. On the wall hung a picture of a beautiful lady. She was young and happy, but her clothes were old-fashioned and stiff, and her hair had powder. She did not say thank you or cranky. She looked at the little boy with kind eyes. The boy asked the old man, "Where did you get her?" "Over there, at the store that sells old things," the old man said. "There are many pictures there. No one knows or cares about them because they are all forgotten. But I knew her long ago. She has been dead for 50 years. Under the picture, in a glass frame, there was a bunch of dry flowers. They were almost 50 years old. They looked very old. The big clock's arm moved back and forth. The hands turned. Everything in the room seemed to get older, but they did not notice. At home, they say, the little boy said, that you are very, very lonely. Oh, he said, old thoughts, with all they bring, come to visit me. And now you come too. I am very happy. Then he took a picture book from the shelf. It had long parades and strange people you don't see now. Soldiers like playing cards and people with flags. Tailors had their flag with scissors held by 2 lions. Shoemakers had their flag without boots, but with a 2-headed eagle. Shoemakers need everything to be a pair. Yes, it was a wonderful picture book. The old man went to another room to get jam, apples, and nuts. Yes, it was lovely in the old house. I cannot stand it any more, said the toy soldier, who was on the dresser. It is so lonely and sad here. When you are with a family, you cannot get used to this life. I cannot stand it. The whole day is so long, and the evenings are even longer. It is not like your home, where your father and mother talked nicely, and where you and all your sweet children made such a lovely noise. Oh, how lonely the old man is. Do you think he gets kisses? Do you think he gets kind eyes or a Christmas tree? He will get nothing but a grave. I cannot stand it. You must not be so sad, the little boy said. I find it very nice here. And all the old thoughts, with what they bring, come and visit here. Yes, that's fine, but I don't see them, and I don't know them, said the toy soldier. I cannot stand it. But you must, said the little boy. Then the old man came in with a happy face, and delicious jam, apples, and nuts. The little boy forgot about the toy soldier. The little boy went home happy. Weeks and days passed. He nodded to the old house, and the old house nodded back. Then the little boy went there again. The carved trumpeters blew, tratter-atra. Here is the little boy. Tratter-atra. The swords and armor on the knights' pictures rattled. The silk dresses rustled. The pig leather spoke. The old chairs had pains in their legs and backs. Oh! It was just like the first time, because every day an hour was the same there. I cannot stand it, said the toy soldier. I have cried tears of metal. It is too sad. I would rather go to war and lose arms and legs. That would at least be a change. I cannot stand it any more. Now, I know what it's like to have old thoughts visit you, with all they bring. Mine visited me, and it is not a good thing. I almost jumped off the dresser. I saw you all at home so clearly, as if you were really here. It was Sunday morning again. All you children stood by the table and sang your songs, as you do every morning. You stood with your hands together. And father and mother were also good. Then the door opened, and little Sister Mary, who is not yet 2 years old, and who always dances when she hears music or singing, came into the room. She should not have been there. Then she began to dance, but she could not keep time because the music was slow. And then she stood, first on one leg, and bent her head forward, and then on the other leg, and bent her head forward. But it did not work. You all stood very seriously, even though it was hard. But I laughed to myself, and then I fell off the table and got a bump, which I still have. It was not right for me to laugh. But now everything comes back to me, and everything I have seen. These are the old thoughts, with all they bring. Tell me, do you still sing on Sundays? Tell me something about little Mary. And how my friend, the other toy soldier, is doing. Yes, he is happy enough, that's for sure. I cannot stand it any more. You were given away as a gift, said the little boy. You must stay. Don't you understand? The old man came with a drawer. There were many things inside, like metal boxes and medicine boxes. Old cards, big and golden, like you don't see now. And several drawers were opened, and the piano was opened. It had pictures of nature inside its lid. It sounded rough when the old man played it. And then he hummed a song. Yes, she could sing that, he said, and nodded to the picture he bought at the store. The old man's eyes shined brightly. I will go to war. I will go to war, shouted the toy soldier as loudly as he could. He threw himself off the dresser onto the floor. What happened to him? The old man looked, and the little boy looked. He was gone and stayed gone. I will find him, said the old man, but he never did. The floor had a big crack. The toy soldier had fallen through a crack and lay there like in an open grave. That day passed. The little boy went home. That week passed, and many weeks too. The windows were frozen. The little boy had to breathe on them to see through to the old house. The snow had blown into all the carvings and writings. It lay high over the steps, as if no one was home. And no one was home. The old man had died. In the evening, a car for the dead was seen in front of the door. He was carried in his box. He was going to the country to be buried. He was driven away, but no one followed. All his friends were dead. The little boy blew a kiss to the box as it drove away. A few days later, there was a sale at the old house. The little boy saw from his window how they carried away the old knights and ladies, the flower pots with long ears, the old chairs, and the old closets. Some things went here, and some went there. The picture of the lady from the store went back to the store. It hung there, for no one knew her anymore. No one cared about the old picture. In the spring, they tore down the house because people said it was falling apart. You could see from the street into the room with the pig leather walls, which were cut and torn. The green grass and leaves on the balcony hung wild around the falling wooden beams. And then a new house was built. That was a relief, said the houses next door. A nice house was built there, with big windows and smooth white walls. But in front of it, where the old house had stood, there was a small garden. A wild plant grew up the wall of the house next door. In front of the garden was a large metal fence with a metal gate. It looked very grand. People stopped and looked in. Many small birds hung in the plant and chattered to each other. But it was not about the old house, because they could not remember it. So many years had passed. So many that the little boy had grown into a man. Yes, a smart man and a joy to his parents. He had just gotten married, and with his young wife, had come to live in the house with the garden. He stood with her as she planted a pretty wild flower. She planted it with her small hand and pressed the dirt around it with her fingers. Oh! What was that? She pricked herself. Something sharp was sticking out of the soft dirt. It was, yes, guess. It was the toy soldier. The one that was lost at the old man's house. He had fallen and rolled around among the wooden trash, and had been in the ground for many years. The young wife wiped the dirt off the soldier, first with a green leaf, and then with her nice handkerchief. It smelled so good that the toy soldier felt like he had woken up from a dream. "Let me see him," said the young man. He laughed and shook his head. "No, it cannot be him. But he reminds me of a story about a toy soldier I had when I was a little boy." Then he told his wife about the old house, and the old man, and the toy soldier he sent to him because he was very, very lonely. He told it exactly as it happened. Tears came to his young wife's eyes because of the old house and the old man. "It might be the same toy soldier," she said. "I will take care of it and remember everything you told me. But you must show me the old man's grave." "But I don't know where it is," he said. "And no one knows. All his friends were dead. No one took care of it, and I was a little boy then." "How very, very lonely he must have been," she said. "Very, very lonely," said the toy soldier. "But it is nice not to be forgotten." "Nice," something close by shouted. But no one, except the toy soldier, saw that it was a piece of the pig leather wall hanging. It had lost all its gold and looked like wet clay. But it had an idea and it shared it. The gold goes away, but pig leather stays. The toy soldier did not believe this.